We got that wrong. Today we're joined by a very special guest. You may know him as Koro. You may know him as Mr. Sonoma Bakery, Mr. Megaphone Media, the one, the only, Mr. Regan Rona.
What's up, boys?
What's up, guys? Pleasure to have
us.
you. Thanks for having me.
He would have preferred if you'd like. I was waiting for you to throw in something. I think a big part of his identity is also his commitment to Christ. So,
Amen.
Amen. Man of God.
Amen.
Let's go.
Shalom,
A
shalom.
husband and a father. as
Husband,
well.
father. I know there's a lot to go through here.
Yeah,
List of
This is going to be
accolades.
the longest podcast ever, about 3 hours deep.
Let's go. Oh, yeah, we got time. We got time. All right, so what are we going to be doing, Maddie? We're going to kick off with Regan.
Well, look, I just think, for the last 15 weeks, we've kind of wanted to jump from topic to topic. And a big part of our, our journey through this Dropout podcast was to have speakers and guests on that really sort of embody what it is to not only be a dropout, but someone that we can have an interesting dialogue with, someone who's done like to achieved a lot in their life, and someone who we respect and we love. Regan, it's a pleasure to have you on, bro.
Why don't we start with a bit of history? Like, how do you? Because obviously you two have known each other from before. I think you might have gone to school together or something. Let's start with a bit of history. How do you know this guys, Regan?
It's funny, he called me up. I've probably seen him, mutual friends on socials and stuff, but he called me up and said, hey, bro, I'm opening a cafe next to F45. Obviously I'm interested in some samples, and in my head I'm like,
samples?
Where are you? Yeah, like
samples for some
Sonoma,
breads.
Oh,
Sonoma.
bread. Yeah.
And then
Nice.
he's like to me, it's in Maryland. And straight away in my head I was like, this is going to be a crap cafe.
Why? Because of Maryland or because of Maddie?
Well,
Dodgy liver.
he said in Maryland and next to a gym. Usually that too doesn't work. So, but yeah, that's how we kind of officially met. And then I don't know why. Did I call you back or you called me back?
Oh, bro.
Wait, so you went to school together?
No,
No, we didn't know each other
My
back then.
bad,
Like,
my
he
bad.
kind of just was like sort of around the footy
From the
scene and
area.
that, a couple of years older. And when I didn't even know him, but when I was trying to get the breads, Sonoma, obviously best sourdough in the
Yes,
game.
sir.
You know? So
expensive,
they
man.
linked me up with him. And then, bro, first day I met him, he came through. He bought like massive box of samples and that, croissants, donuts, this, that. So like he sold me the first day.
The hookup.
The hook that us up.
Is a lot of your work with Sonoma? That's obviously you're people know
bread
you
and
as a lot
butter.
of things, but you're obviously a very good you're a very good marketer. We'll talk more about Megaphone
Salesman.
and your marketing business as well. But does a lot of your business come through your network that way? Someone will call you up because they've seen you on socials or they know you, but like, hey, I've got a cafe or someone I know's got a cafe. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so obviously I'm in sales. Monday to Friday I work for Sonoma. It's pretty much 24/7. But I've been blessed, I guess, with the gift of the gab, and
Yes.
God's definitely blessed me with that. It hasn't always been like this. I struggle to speak English. My wife can kick in for that. And, it's just for me being in sales. It's something that I just kind of grew into and I fell in love with. So. Back when I was, young and was in school, I got introduced to network marketing, and I had to sell products. Yeah.
Like multi-level marketing.
Multi-level
What was that
marketing.
through?
It was called Vima. It was like health and wellness products.
Vima.
Yeah, so
Heard
I
of
used
it?
to speak
Because you were pyramid scheming.
pretty much.
Didn't know that.
Bro,
Yeah, I heard of Vima.
Had any of you ever gotten calls or got someone that tried to get you in on one of those
Yeah.
before?
You
were that guy.
I was that guy.
Yeah,
I was
that
that
guy.
guy.
So give us a quick breakdown of what that looks
Yeah,
like.
how old were
Like,
you?
So
How old were
I
you when you
was
started that?
16,
Oh,
and
wow.
actually wasn't even allowed to do it. But I was meant to be 18 to do it. I just lied about my age, and so from that I was introduced to a legit science class, and the guy was like to me, "Hey, watch this video. Watch this video. Of young kids driving around in Lamborghinis, Ferraris,
Selling the dream.
Selling the dream." I was like, "Bro," and they're like, "Yeah, just sign up for $500. You'll be able to get this." I was like, "Done." Bro, I'm not even kidding you. That first week, I had no money, bro. So I don't come from a lot of money. My family did the best they could, and I remember I worked at my friend's uncle's house, just demolishing. He paid me I think it was like $500 cash for the week, and with that money, bought the first products.
Oh, no.
And then from there, man, I started to learn about, personal development, and obviously learning how to sell. So we were young kids, man, from Western Sydney. We were talking in front of hundreds of kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there was a bit of success with the sales there, or
There was definitely success, and for me, that was the journey for my sales personally, and I think just believing that, just because of your environment or where your upbringing is, it's not just that. And my first book I ever read, I hated reading, but the first book I actually read and finished was Rich Dad Poor Dad.
What a book.
Nice.
Beautiful
Robert
book.
Kiyosaki.
And then Think and Grow Rich. So
Yeah.
from there, man, I just grew into sales. And
Napoleon Hill. Yeah,
yeah,
good
so
book.
that's how my sales kind of journey started. And there was a lot of network marketing things that I did. But yeah, that was one of the first steps into it.
So before you actually became good at community and communication, before you started doing this network marketing, how was that for you? Was it something you had to learn and build?
Definitely. So like I was always a confident kid, always believed in myself. Growing up in footy, it's either you be confident or you just get bashed.
Yeah, literally.
The footy culture is very toxic, and for me, it was thank God that I got out of it. But at the same time, it did teach me a lot of things in life. Obviously to work as a team, and from a young age, I was a captain of my team, so leadership was one thing I had to learn, and that really obviously grew into who I am today as well. So I thank God that I went through that. But yeah, before that, it was just me being a footy player. That was my dream from a young age, and didn't really think of anything else. That was pretty much my way out.
Yeah. And how long did you do this VMA for? So that was 16 years old. How long were you in that environment for before you moved on from there?
The company went to court.
Bro, I was actually about to say, tell us a bit about like, the moral and ethical standards of this.
The company, thanks, bro. The company went to court, but with that happening, they obviously had to pause everything. They won eventually, but obviously ruined the reputation. So, I think I did it for 2 years.
Oh wow, that's a longer stint than I actually
Bro,
would have
that's
thought.
a very long stint at that age too. That would have felt like a lifetime. Back
It was actually like just life changing for me because man, I was a young kid and we were like mentoring other kids and we were speaking in front of big crowds. We used to hire out there was a Parramatta, I don't know the name of it, but there was a cafe. I think it was like a Lake Cafe on Church Street at the end near the bridge, and we used to hire out up top. Like just young kids, and then one time he double booked us, so we did the meeting down in a basement.
Wow.
So like we were just
hectic.
hustlers, man.
And
Like,
the idea was to sign up as many people
yeah, correct. Underneath you,
in VMA.
What were you
in the
selling?
pyramid scheme.
So we're selling
I
health
wanna
and
know-
wellness products. So
Health
we
and
had
wellness.
like energy drinks, we had
Right.
like nutrition shots and stuff like that.
There's one called Nutrin. It's a green logo. It's actually been around recently. I forgot what it's called.
Yes, a few people I know actually do that one.
That-
I know which one you're talking about.
You know which one I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
but I forgot the name.
So how do these pyramid schemes actually work if someone doesn't know exactly what a pyramid
Yeah,
scheme
can you
works?
describe
So
how
can
it
you describe how
actually
this
It's
works?
technically not a pyramid scheme. Yeah, but they went to court and won. But there has been in the past where obviously you have the person that signed you up and they build like a team underneath
Right.
them, and every time you get someone, you get a percentage and
Yes.
stuff like that.
So you make money off
Yeah,
like
yeah,
everyone.
But you were just selling products. You weren't like trying
No.
to bring people underneath.
no, I was bringing people in.
Oh,
and
you
selling
were.
products.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's the
yeah.
whole
But
idea.
okay,
Is
so
okay. So
pyramid scheme,
the way
yeah.
I understand it is, let's just say you come in, you're in on the pyramid scheme. Sorry for calling it a pyramid scheme.
Well,
Or
the
if you're
business?
if you're on that let's call it the bottom level. Then basically, it's your job to then build a base beneath you of people, and then eventually you're.
Doesn't
at the
someone
top
end
of
up
a
always
pyramid.
getting cut short though?
Yeah,
Like, by the
no, but you're getting cut short by the guy above you, and the guy above you is getting cut short by the guy before him. And
Right.
but the whole idea is you bring people underneath
Yeah.
you, and then you
So
cut.
like the
Can
corporate
progress.
world.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, 100%. Now I'm getting used to that now
Yeah.
too, bro.
Yeah. Hopefully, VMA is not going to sue us for defamation.
No.
We are not saying that VMA is a pyramid scheme.
No.
We're simply making our own observations and comments based on what we know about pyramid schemes.
Organised by the Australian government, Canberra.
But yeah, man, that was obviously something that I got into and then started, developing myself in books. And because I hated education, to be honest with you, like, formal education, it wasn't for me. I used to get the teachers to do a lot of my assignments. Honestly, like one of my mates, Kai Simblins, his mum was my maths teacher. And I got 100% in the maths test.
Oh, mate.
Because she was giving me the answers.
It's just an interesting plot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I never really liked formal education, and then when I found self-development, I really dived into that.
Yeah, but see, that's what we love about this podcast is sort of like trying to shine the light on the fact that, a lot of the people that we know within, our circle, but also the people listening and probably the people that they know that are successful around them is the fact that I think most of them have gone down the less beaten path or less traditional path. Sean's obviously experienced that. JP himself, obviously coming up through the ranks at
Did I tell you?
what was that company
I
called?
also worked at
where
LinkedIn.
I
At
work.
LinkedIn.
Never heard of it.
Did you ever see him? At LinkedIn?
Wait, he should pay like $50 every time he talks about it.
Bro,
They
literally.
should pay him every time.
I owe them a lot,
Sponsorship.
bro. But Kristen and I first started chatting in the LinkedIn. We knew of
Wow.
each other before that, but we started chatting in the LinkedIn DMs.
Wow.
Isn't that right? She can't hear
Love you,
us.
babe.
She's upstairs.
And then where did you go from there? So VMA, you learned a lot from there, but what was that next step for you?
So-
Were you 18?
Yeah, so
18 coming out.
So obviously I was in the hospitality scene as well. So
Oosh.
my first job was a proper job was being a barista, and that was at Coffee Chew. So my business partner now, his brother-in-law opened up a cafe, and shout out to Joe Nora. It was called Coffee Chew, and a lot of the boys that are my friends today, like Andrew DeLuca, he worked there. And
this is good. This is good. So this is how you know some of those boys.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
So Andrew, I've known him since I was 12 through footy, but we started working together. That guy, bro, honestly, like we used to punch on, like just because he was so OCD. Like
Yeah, like when you got dirt on his new carpet. Shout out Andrew. We love you, bro.
Yeah, bro.
But like I always tell the story because it's so funny because he was like legit. He came out of his mum pouring coffee. Like this was his destiny.
Visualize that.
That's what I was talking about.
But like that was his destiny. And we were 15, 16, I think, at the time when we first like did part time. And I remember he snitched on me and Kai Simberlin. He legit took photos of a pack up and sent it to the boss.
Oh, wow. I just to say the boys didn't do a good job.
But bro, anyways, like
And for context, Andrew DeLuca, for those of you who don't know, the majority of you that listen to this probably would know. He's one of the owners of Elevate.
Specialty Coffee and Elevate Kiosk as well, and a very good friend of mine, and I owe him a lot. So I'm not trying to bag him, but
he's a snitch.
But he's a snitch, and snitches get stitches. But yeah, so from hospitality to doing Vim at the same time, and then I actually met my wife at this cafe as well. So shout out to my wife.
Yeah.
So she was a shoe manager, and I was 18.
What?
At
Shoe
this
chef.
time.
Manager.
Shoe manager.
Not a sous chef.
Not a sous chef.
Oh, I just like a
Shoe shop manager.
I'm like, what's a shoe manager at a cafe? You mean in the retail?
center.
retail.
In the plaza.
Oh.
Sorry.
Within the centre.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So I didn't explain myself. Sorry.
No,
So
that's
at
all right.
Top Right Shopping Centre, she worked at a
That's
shoe
good because
shop.
randoms like my mates or whoever.
You know.
She was a manager there, and I remember the first day I met her, I told my boss I was going to get with her, and
nice.
I lied about my age. And something that I thank God for was obviously whatever the enemy meant for evil, God uses for good. And I didn't know Christ at the time. She didn't know Christ at the time, and we went on a journey. So I was 17, lied about my age. She was 24.
Wow.
23 at the time. She's 6 years older than me.
Wow.
Obviously we got together, and it was one of those things. I was so young, I was broken myself as well. So coming out of that cafe doing Vima, I was still looking for what my purpose was, because my footy career was pretty much over.
Yep.
I did a lot of my injuries were coming up, and I just lost passion. But then I met my wife, and we were best friends. Like we used to hang out at work all day, and
That's hectic.
and then we got together, and pretty much honestly 6 months she got pregnant.
Right.
So my greatest blessing is my baby girl Ruby.
That's hectic.
She
Praise God.
changed my world. Growing up with not much and not knowing who Christ was. One thing that I can tell you right now is, without Christ in my life today, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be sitting here. I would definitely not be able to be the father I am or the husband I am.
So how old were you when Liana fell pregnant?
I was 18.
Wow.
What was that like at the time to go through that?
Yeah, 100%. I'd like to know a little bit more about this.
At such a young
I'll tell you a
age.
funny story. So actually, that day she found out she was pregnant, she was moving into my mum's house.
Oh.
So prior, so you were always going to move into with her even before she was
So
pregnant?
I pretty much lived with her.
Okay.
Right.
But then we're like, why are you paying here? We'll just go live with my mum.
Yeah.
Obviously we don't need to pay double rent. And then she that day she found out we were moving her stuff, and my stepdad had a truck. We loaded it, and she wasn't helping. I was getting angry. I was like, bro, my mum's lifting stuff. Like, why aren't you doing anything? I was full cut. And then as we're on the bus, I don't know why I asked the question, but I was like, everything all right with you? Like, why weren't you helping us? You got my mum lifting stuff? Because anyways, and then she's like, I'm like, are you pregnant? And she's like,
Oh,
yeah.
you asked it?
Yeah, I asked, I don't know why. And
Random
she's like, yeah, my whole world stopped.
Bro.
And I was on the bus going to my mum's house with her. And
Because you're an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Cuz.
Yeah.
and then it just stopped. And then I legit got off the bus and I just dropped on my knees. And for me, my dad, shout out to my dad, I honor him. He did the best he could, but he left me at a young age. I think I was 13, 14. And I never ever wanted to put like a child through what I went through. It's very tough out there with the generation that's growing up now, and our society. When kids don't have a father in their house or a mum, it's very tough for them to really get through stuff. So I could have done the option of running, easily. But I just, in the back of my head, I knew it wasn't the right thing, and I know God for a fact used my daughter for me to realize that there's more to life than what I thought that was. So that was honestly at that time,
huge. 18.
I was still broken. I had a lot of things that I was battling myself, I can't put it to words of, you know, the journey from finding out to having Ruby, but what I can say is, you know, God definitely used her, and you know, God was there for me from the start. And at that time as well, I was on the journey to find my faith. So I grew up atheist, didn't believe in God. I used to judge people like Maddie, the ones I thought they were lunatics.
Yeah.
Up at the clubs, just screaming at the clubs.
Like what Maddie was.
You must repent.
Were you
The old
going
Maddie.
like, okay, I'm good with it for a bit, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm actually having to have a kid, and then like you get through it for another couple of days, and then you're like,
yeah.
and then it hits you again.
I've always been the one to be positive. Like,
Yeah,
I
praise
think I
God.
get that from my mum. Her love for me really helped me get through tough times. And but at the same time, she can be negative, and she sees the worst in people. But her love just outpoured at me as a young kid, and you know, bringing up 3 other siblings with us as a single mum, she just got through it. You know, and I think from that, I took a bit from her, and man, obviously being 18 years of age, not knowing what you're doing with your life, and you're finding out that you're going to be a father, like, man, trust me, mentally, it was tough. And I didn't actually have a job at that time, I don't think, I was trying to do this thing, it was called Scatter. Man, my wife laughs every time I tell this story because, man, we legit didn't have much money, and this guy, one of my mates' uncles, started an app.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was like a one-stop platform, like just like Facebook, Instagram, and shop owners could use it to get like rewards for their customers, all this stuff. So he was trying to do that, kind of be that guy.
Yeah.
And the app wasn't out, so I was going out on the streets trying to sell this app that wasn't
That
out.
wasn't existed.
And he sold us the dream, put up this party, we're going to go to Canada, America, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, let's do it. And in the back of my head, I was like, oh, crap, I've got a baby.
Yeah, literally, bro. Hey, man.
But then, yeah, so that was crazy. That was a crazy experience. But I knew I had to just keep going because obviously I stopped.
Yeah, you couldn't stop, eh?
Yeah,
It was against all odds. It was like, whatever, I'm just going to keep doing what I got to hustle.
You got to make the money. You got to, yeah.
And how did you, like, I think one of the things that I would anticipate would be a very hard thing. Like, even for when if I think to myself, if someone like me was in your shoes, you think you're 18 and then you've got all these people around you looking and going like, you know, there'd be people that would be judging, there'd be people that would be commenting on the situation, all that sort of stuff.
100%.
How did you find that experience of like others and when they found out and kind of how they dealt with it or dealt with you? And
Like I said, so we were staying with my mum at the time, and she was always supportive from the day dot. She just, her love and all that was really supportive. But, you know, we did have a lot of people around us, you know, family, close friends, to obviously opt out, or, you know, what are you guys doing? You're young. We had a lot of negativity, and you know, when it's people that are close to you, it hurts. It's not easy, but, you know, thank God for my wife. She's a strong woman, and you know, the reason why my kids are such blessings is because of the way she raises them, and you know, she's been there at my worst times. Like, I can't express how much gratitude I have for her, because, you know, even through my darkness, she was still there, and I put her through hell. You know, I'll go into that a bit later. I know we've got about 3 hours here.
Yeah.
But
Keep listening. Keep listening.
But that mentally, like, yeah, it was tough, man. And I had a lot of demons that I was going through at that time as well. So that was, I think just being together and just knowing that we're a team and we're going to get through it. Just a lot of shout out to my mum again, because, she helped us a lot at the start.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And what, because I'm talking about, you know, some of those dark times you went through. Last year you put together a bit of a series, or documented some of your life over a 6-part series, I think 6 or 8-part series. And what made you do that? What made you come out and talk about that past, and what are some of those things that you went through?
Yeah. So shout out to Brendan Raleigh. He used to work where I was at Megaphone, and he actually put it together. He's been telling me I should tell my story so much, and but the reason why I did it is because I know my testimony can help someone else.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's one person going through what I went through. So one thing, obviously, being a young dad, especially when the world's, you know, you think the world's against you, and or odds are against you, like JP said. I was addicted to gambling. So from 16, I think it was, my first cafe job, we used to go down to the tab. After the cafe, we used to go do the pokies. We were like young kids. I didn't realize what it was doing to me. And then, like, you go around the boys, you gamble. You know, it's
so normal.
Social.
Yeah.
It's like, it's cool. And I remember I won like once, like massively. I was like, oh my gosh. And unfortunately, man, I got into that trap, and it took me so long to get out of it. Like, it was like a battle. Like,
So are you spending everything you had? Like,
pretty much, bro.
Yeah.
Like, they got to a stage where, like, I was
Paycheck in, paycheck out,
pretty
paycheck
much.
in. Yeah.
Like, I think after Ruby, like, even before Ruby, I was doing it, but it wasn't too like full on. And there was one time when my wife went to New Zealand. She took Ruby, and I was home by myself, and I didn't even know what happened. Like, cracked it. Yeah, cracked it. Just started gambling everything, bro.
Wow, bro.
Yeah.
Wow.
And for me, like, people are always shocked when I say this because they're like, "Oh, Regan, you're not retarded. Like, why are you doing this?" And I can't explain it. Like there was something that in me that knew it wasn't right. It's like it's actual addiction. Like it's like any other.
That's how you
addiction.
explain
Definitely.
addiction, bro. When you do something you know
You
you
know
don't
it's
want to do.
not right.
But I kept doing it, and I do believe it's like when you first taste something, it's always the best.
Yeah.
When I first got that big win, I was always chasing that.
Wow.
And gambling is such a serious thing. But man, this hurts because every footy ad has a gambling thing. Gambling's everywhere.
Yeah, they'll say every single deal. Oh, gamble responsibly. Like,
Yeah.
bro, how you gonna tell me that?
Actually,
Yeah,
it's
but
just
it's gambling and alcohol
There's a-
together.
there's a
Those
guy-
two
There's a
things.
guy
Yeah.
that came out recently. I forgot what program it
Yeah,
was.
my
Chris-
wife sent me that.
Kristen was literally watching it last night where this
Yeah.
guy was like, we need to get rid of these gambling
He-
ads
yeah.
on footy.
It's disgusting,
But
bro.
it destroys so many people's lives. Like,
Destroys families.
destroys families. Like, and I've heard so many stories. But I had to really like go deep into the trenches, and I thank God that He was able to walk me through that and just the journey of my faith. So when I was 18 at Coffee Chew, the boss, the new owner that bought the shop, Simon Aza, he started to preach the gospel to us. And me coming from an atheist background, judging everyone, I was like, oh, this.
And
guy's
this was your
another-
first experience with someone.
one of
talking
my
about-
first proper experiences where
Yeah.
someone sat down to me and to explain the gospel.
Yeah.
And he bought me a Bible, and then from there, Jesse Owa, Andrew DeLuca, we all just kind of just started going on a journey together. But that was the first step to my faith, to understand who Christ was. And from there, I kind of had the wrong intention of who Christ was. Like I was like, yeah, Christ died for my sins so I can keep sinning. So I was out there gambling, doing drugs, and
So were you using that at the time to be like,
as an
hectic, I
excuse,
can go
as
just
an
go have a punt
excuse.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was using it as an excuse. I was still doing drugs, partying, all that kind of stuff as well. We all fall short from His glory. No one's perfect. No one's going to be perfect. I'm not perfect sitting here right now. So that was the step into obviously finding God. And through my darkest times, I thought, man, I had suicide thoughts. There was so many times where I was just like, man, I've got a young family. What the heck am I doing? But then, it was a journey, man. And I had to really, obviously fight my demons and keep going through it. And I think I was 20 when I went to my church where I go to now, Revelations, Western Sydney. And that changed my life because that community helped me so much, man. And with my faith journey as well. And obviously still like dealing with gambling. I was so prideful, like never told anyone about it.
Wow.
Never told anyone. Only my wife knew. And then there was one time I pretty much gambled our last money.
Wow.
And we had Ruby at the time and Rain. I think my wife was pregnant maybe. But it was like I gambled everything. And my wife like snapped. She's like obviously she was angry. My mum had to come pick me up because I got kicked out. I came home drunk. And I had to go live with my mum for a bit. It was only a couple of days, but it was a dark time. And if I didn't have the people around me to support me to get through what I was going through.
Were you at Revelations at the time?
Yeah, I was at Revelations at the time. And that was like, I think probably 3 or 6 months into going to church and trying to find who Christ actually was. And then from there, my wife's like, man, honestly, like you have to go get help. Like you have to.
Did you ever like and obviously you share what you're comfortable sharing? Like she's, and I'm obviously not saying that that anyone's blameless in anything, but did you find that she got to a point where she was at breaking point where she was like something's got to give or like
Yeah.
Praise Liana, bro.
Yeah.
She woman of God, bro.
She pretty much said to me, if you don't stop, I'm taking the kids back to New Zealand.
Wow.
Yeah.
And bro, like obviously like I was trying my best, and then I went to a counselor. I went for about 6 months, and it was like, for me it was a new thing, obviously, trying to express how I was feeling. And then she was saying all this stuff like, oh, these little sounds that will get you triggered, or these little moments when you're angry or stressed, you'll gamble. And it was good to release that, but there was only one thing that really could save me, was Christ, like actually giving my whole life to Christ. And the thing with people that obviously see me in my journey is like, man, like this guy loves Jesus. There's a reason for it, because without him, like, I'm telling you right now, I would not be here.
Yeah, and like I mean, it all like even you talking about this today, like it means so much more to hear you talk about it this way, because it makes sense. Like it was just something that you needed to get out of the places that you were.
100%. And from that, it was like just opening up and starting to speak to men, at my church, and just I give a lot of time and praises to them, because I was able to open up. And when I hit rock bottom, for me, like even when I got baptized, I thought all my sins would go away. Like it was gonna be perfect.
Yeah, like
I'm not going to gamble anymore. I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm not
Slate's
gonna,
draw a line
clean.
in the sand and off you go. Like
so
this,
that's going into my journey of social media as well. So the week before I got baptized, I started a business. So I left my job. I was selling coffee. I left my job. And
who were you selling coffee with?
Shabella
Coffee.
Yeah, shout out to
oh,
Shabella.
like you were like BDM.
I was BDM, pretty much the role I'm doing now. So
The king, bro.
yeah, I was doing that at 19, and then about 2 years, just under 2 years, I was like, nah, stuff this. I'm gonna do my own thing. So I stepped out the week before I got baptized, and I was thought, bro, God's blessing me. Like, I'm gonna give you my life. This is it.
You're going to give me in return a massive business.
Cash.
All these blessings.
All right, listen, I'll get baptized, but
If you
like,
give
that's
me
how
this.
Yeah, literally, it's transactional.
Yeah,
I've been praying a lot, cuz. Where's my money?
Where's my beamer?
That's prosperity gospel.
That's what I was doing, man. And like I got baptized, and honestly, that was the toughest 6 months of my life.
Wow.
Like straight up, like I think I lasted about a year and a half. But the first 3 to 6 months, because I had a business partner, he funded me for 2 weeks until the business could obviously pay me a wage, and I had a rental car as well at the time. And then, bro, business is hard. Like anyone that says it's not, they haven't done it.
100%.
Business is so tough. Like you have to go to the trenches every day, and especially when you have other people to that rely on you.
Yeah.
So
And which business was
this was called Social Exclusive. It was
Okay.
social media agency as well.
Your first one, your first business.
My first official
Business.
Prior
yeah.
to Megaphone, just you on your own.
Just me and this other guy that.
And had you seen some? Is the reason you decided to start that because you had seen some success with you doing your own?
So I
social
was
stuff, or
So
what?
prior to this, I was doing social media for a few people like cafes, restaurants.
okay,
I was
cool.
just helping people out, and I was like, man, they're paying me to do this. Like, bro, I'm definitely can step
Do your
back.
own thing. Yeah.
But then from there, it was just one of those things, man, that I learned the hard way that business isn't easy, and I was still struggling with my demons.
Yeah.
I remember after I got baptized, the first time I gambled, I was like, bro, God, are you even here? Bro, I started questioning God. And then the hardest thing was to tell my wife, because every time I told her I did it, like
It hurts even more, bro. Far out.
And that was tough, man, because at that time I had 2 kids as well.
Yeah.
I had a business, and it wasn't any business owner knows that you don't have a regular income, you know. So if you're not hustling and you're not getting sales in, you're screwed. With 2 kids at home, so my son was born at this time, and then obviously Ruby and Rain, and then obviously my wife, I had to provide for them. And then probably a year into it, if that, I obviously was fighting my demons, still gambling. And then I just said to my business partner, the guy that was funding at the start, I said, man, this is not going to be probably long term. I need to fix myself, and I need to just go get a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Regular income.
But prior to this all happening, I remember because we had a No Birds rental car for me, and at the time I told my partner at the time, like, I'm just going to do some extra shifts, at a cafe. So in the city, I was just helping out an old boss of mine, and then I parked the car at Redfern, and then I come back after my shift, and the car's gone.
Oh, the rental.
Bro, my baby seat cars were in there, the rental, and I'm in my head, I'm like, bro, what is going on?
Did you leave the keys in there?
No. So what happened was the guy that was funding me forgot a payment, and their guy, No Birds came and picked it.
Oh, lucky. I was going to say.
So they tracked it. How did they know where it was?
They must have a
Track
GPS
car, yeah.
tracker.
And they just went and came and took it.
Repo.
Bro, you would have been shitting your pants.
Oh shit! I rang the business partner. I was like, bro, what the hell? Like the car's not here. He's like, call them. I was like, okay, I called them. Yeah, we got your car. Come get your stuff. I was like, what? I was like, and anyway, they're like, yeah, you missed the payment. So I went there. I was like, oh, can we make the payment now? Like, oh, because you broke the contract, you can't until another couple of weeks. And I'm sitting there like, no car, 2 car seats. Stuff. So I'm legit sitting in Redfern on the side of the road, and I'm like, is this rock bottom?
My wife is going to kill me.
Yeah, pretty much. Is this rock bottom again? And I was like, man. And then,
It hurts when you keep going back, bro.
And then James Latouf, shout out to him, man. He's always been a good friend of mine. We did Shabella together. We've worked at the cafes together, and obviously my business partner now. I called him, and I told him, he's like, where are you? And then he's like, I'll be there soon. Came and picked me up.
What a
All
legend.
the way home. I'll never forget that day because I was crying, like my eyes out, just on the side of the road. And he comes and I'm like trying to wipe his tears.
James, stop going. Got something in my eye.
And then we didn't even talk much the whole time. But I know that if I ever need anything, he's always been there. But that happened, and so from that day, I was working I said to my business partner pretty much, I'm done. I'm going to go to just start working again. So I was working at a cafe in the city, the same one, and I was catching public transport Monday to Saturday. Bro, the most humbling experience.
Literally.
Thinking that you're the man I think I was 20 or 21, thinking you're the man, thinking that
Got my own business, this, that.
I'm retired and bro. And then yeah, every day I prayed to God, walking through the park to the bus stop, like, God, you told me to step out, you know, because prior to doing my business, I prayed and, you know, everything just aligned, you know, and I don't know if it was my own will that pushed me or his will to show me like, bro, you need to sit down and be humble because things that you're doing is definitely not to glorify me. And then, yeah, so for about 3 months, if that, I was just going.
6 day hustle, just
6 day
cafe hustle.
Yeah, and then
Been there.
the Sonoma rep came to the cafe.
Oh, no way.
And it was the funniest thing because he tried to sell to me. I'm like, bro, I'm going to be straight up to you. These owners are tight asses. I'm like, give me your best price. And he's looking at me like, who are you?
Who's this guy?
He's like, do you own this place? I'm like, no. I said, the owners are tight asses. And he's like, oh, bro, I've never been I'm like, I used to be a salesman. I don't want to waste your time, bro. And he's like, bro, I respect that. The next day he came back. He's like, do you want a job?
Mad.
No way.
And I was like, oh, potentially, like, you know, obviously he showed me more details. And then he came back the week after. We sat down. He's like, yeah,
Wow.
bro, we're looking for a rep out west. I think.
Beautiful.
And then in the back
Did
of
they
my,
give you a company car straight away?
yeah, well, not straight away. I was just like, what car? Like, I didn't really even care really because I was making coffee.
Yeah, bro.
And I was like back to where I thought, you know, being humbled again. And
So how long before you took the job after you sat down with him?
probably like 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And so once that happened, I will never forget this story. It was a Saturday. My wife called me. I was at the cafe working. She called me. She's like, babes, can you come home? I'm sick. Can you come watch the kids? And it was like a quiet day. So I said to the boss, hey, can I leave early? And prior to this, I was praying to God if Sonoma's the right fit for me. And I said, you know, show me. I legit said, show me a sign because I'm sick of, you know, stepping out and failing.
Like, I want to know
I
for
wanna
sure.
know for
Like,
sure.
Give me
show
that
me a
sign.
sign.
Bro, I'm not even kidding you. I was walking up the World Square Center and on this day, like I wasn't going to finish at this time. I finished at like 9 a.m. Walked up the center and then as soon as I went to the lights, a Sonoma truck stopped right in front of me.
No way.
wow.
I was like,
Bro, smacked her right in the face. Bang.
I was like, okay, I'm taking it. So yeah, pretty much took it.
Wow.
And yeah, from there,
That's beautiful.
there was a lot of process for me to, you know, heal. And, you know, this journey that I've been on, I share my story openly because I know it could help people. I know gambling is a big thing, but not just that younger dads, you know, a lot of men, they fold.
Yeah.
They fold. And we see it like, oh, you know, single mums. No offense to men, but I know the pressure we have, like the pressure we have to lead our family. God's called us to lead the family. And if we're not in the family, who's going to lead the family?
100%.
And it's so hard. It's so hard. Like, I'm not telling you right just because I am a young father or I've been through what I've been through, but everyone relies on you. Like, I've got 3 kids now, thank God, my beautiful wife, and they rely on me, you know, to provide for them, to feed them, to raise them. And the pressure of life is just like tenfold. And that's the reason why I share my story, because no matter what you're going through, there's always going to be a light at the end of the tunnel.
Definitely.
Sorry.
Can I ask, like, when you're saying that you didn't really talk about your gambling and even when you're at church as well, and then you started talking to people about it or men about it, what was it like when you first started talking about it? Or how was that feeling of, oh yeah, I want to actually express what I'm going through? Was obviously it was hard, but what was that like? Because obviously you have a lot of people that have these things that they want to talk about it, but they just don't know how to, or they just don't know what it's going to feel like.
There's
Scary
one
to feel
thing.
vulnerable.
There's one
Very
thing in
scary,
the
yeah.
Bible that says, "Confess your sins to one another," and I believe in that 100%. Because whatever you keep in the dark will grow, and when you bring it to light, you'll kill it. So when I first shared at it's called Men's Embrace. Oh, bro, I buckled. Like I was like my pride got in the way. I shared a bit of it, not the full of it, but just said I struggle with gambling. And then after that meeting, one of the other brothers came in and said, bro, I've been gambling as well. I'm struggling. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Wow.
Yeah, well,
And I was like, what? And then he's like, yeah, man, me too. And we just caught up, had coffees, and it helped me so much because this weight on me was just lifted.
Yeah.
So like you helped him, but then him coming to you helped you. Like it was like a
So
two-way thing.
the thing about men, we're so prideful.
Yeah.
Like, no one has it all together. You know, we're all sitting here as 4 men. All of us has something that we struggle with.
100%.
You know, so we just got
Multiple.
we just got to stop that. I guess that you know, that prejudgment of men of being this tough guy that have it all together, because we know for a fact that we're all weak.
Yeah.
And man, I just praise God that I was able to, you know, go through this journey and express my feelings to others. And to this day, you know, I walk with other brothers and with struggles that they go through. But yeah, that's that from opening up. That was like the start of me healing and, overcoming it as well.
Yeah, beautiful.
And that was like probably the catalyst for other things, like to heal in other things. Like, the gambling is the byproduct. You know what I mean? It's actually finding the root cause of like what our addiction even stems from in the first place. So
100%.
yeah, that's good, bro.
Catalyst.
Catalyst.
Ding, 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 ding.
So what does that word mean?
I don't know.
So catalyst.
Yeah.
Well, let's define it, JP.
Yeah,
I
go
don't know the
JP.
actual
Define
dictionary
catalyst.
definition, but the catalyst, I remember, like in science, if you had hydrochloric acid and then like another chemical, that might be the catalyst for a certain reaction.
Don't use catalyst in a sentence. Try and come up with the definition.
It might be the
Reason
the,
for change.
the causation
Cause of
of
change.
a particular reaction, right? It's just like
This guy simplified it like 5 minutes ago.
Reason for change.
Reason for change.
Yeah, straight out.
It's not the reason for change. It's the catalyst for change.
Catalyst definition.
Oh yeah. Hey Google, what's the definition of catalyst?
Bear with us. Yeah, I'll look at my phone.
And I'm actually just.
Why is it not? Did you turn it off again? Hey Google, what's the definition of catalyst?
It's turned off. I got my phone plugged
Catalyst
in.
meaning a substance that increases the rate of a chemical
No,
reaction.
Suck on that,
A
brother.
person, right? A
So
personal
why did you
thing
use it then?
that
I said science.
listen. A personal thing that precipitates an event.
Precipitates?
Precipitates an event. What does precipitate mean?
No. You mean like precedes?
Okay, catalyst is catalyst. Okay, cool.
But yeah, no, sure, that's hectic. That's cracker. And then now you've got like 3 children. You've broken free of that addiction.
Praise God.
You're walking through. That doesn't mean that there's no more fires and there's no more trials and tribulations, but you've definitely like moved on from that part of your life.
Amen. And for me, like, it's been a journey. People always ask me, do you still have those thoughts? And it's a daily battle for me, honestly. Like, for me, obviously I give all glory to Christ and he's helped me through that, and it's legit. We all have a freedom of choice, and that's the beauty of love. It's actually freedom of choice. And, Christ died on the cross for our sins, not for us to keep sinning,
Yep.
to be free from that. And, I don't, everyone, like I said before, everyone falls short, and, we all have our thorn in our flesh that we struggle with, but I don't see people like, because I know the two side of it for, following Christ and being an atheist and not believing in God. I know how people think.
Yes.
And because I was an atheist and I knew that, I was like, bro, how can God exist? I'm going through hell. Where are you? And people's like, well, how can your God send people to hell? It's not that. We all have that freedom of choice. That's true love.
Yep.
Imagine we're all robots worshiping a God. So.
Well, that's what religion taught us. You know what I mean? I grew up in like sort of a Catholic church and always kept going and didn't know who he was, bro. Like, you know what I mean? You have all those trials and tribulations. Like my dad, that thing that happened with my dad, the thing that happened with my brothers. You know what I mean? Growing up in all this thing, and I'm like, where are you? But that's what we're taught to believe, bro. That like, we go up and he's going to come and fix everything like a magic wand, bro. And he's a genie and everything's going to get fixed straight away. But he wouldn't be the man he's standing here today if he had not gone through that refining period.
That struggle, someone once, I think it was actually one of the fathers at church told me once that the struggle is, that's how you know that the good is happening. Because he would say, okay, well, what about 5 years ago? What about, years ago? Did the struggle exist? And then when I thought about it, it didn't, because the struggle didn't exist because I wasn't fighting anything. I was just like, what's wrong with this?
Correct.
There's nothing wrong with it. I don't feel this thing that's supposed to be wrong. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with it.
Right.
Whereas, now and today, and when I go through stuff, the struggle exists every day. The struggle is there. You know what I mean? The fight is there. The friction is there, which is a sign that something is fighting back.
Amen. Amen.
As opposed to just this stuff going unchecked.
Yeah. And so at this time you started with Sonoma. So what was that transition like when you sort of reached out to them and said, "Yeah, I want a gig"?
Yeah, so I actually tried to sell them first social media.
No way.
What, before you...
Like
before you took the job?
obviously asked me the job. I'm like, oh, do you guys have like a social media?
Oh.
It's like...
Anyways,
Selling to the salesman.
How big was Sonoma big at the time?
yeah, they've been around for 20 years, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
massive.
were they household name? Because I feel like now they're just like everyone knows.
I guess in the industry.
Well, in the
Not
industry,
industry.
they were well known, but more into the city, eastern suburbs style. I definitely, when I started about 5 years ago, the West didn't really know who Sonoma was. So that was my territory that I was given. And when I started that role, man, I just felt a new light in me again. And I love cold calling. So cold calling is when you go to a business and you just pretty much out of nowhere, they don't know who you are, and say, "What's up? I'm Regan. Here's some bread." I did that.
That's an open line and a half.
So I pretty much did that my first year. I just went crazy. The whole West, then I just went crazy, just going into every cafe I could. And then I remember probably after, because we go by financial years, my GM at the time, she still my GM now actually, she stopped me down. She's like, "Regan, you're an amazing salesman, but you know, your retention, like customers like not staying on. Why aren't they not staying on? I'm like, I don't care. I'm more about sales. Like,
So do you account manage them when you sell them as well?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's 360.
Yeah, 360. So, you know, I was going 100% sales, and I was like, bro, they don't need to see me. Who cares? You know, if there was a problem, who cares? Someone else can fix
The
it.
product
Yeah.
the product does the work.
So, and then I had to really shift my mind, but I, you know, through this journey of, you know, being at Sonoma and obviously healing and going through what I was going through, I was able to, you know, there was another light that lit up in me. And at the same time, me and James, so prior to Sonoma, I was helping James out. He was doing like an app, and I was going to an office in Rose Hill with his brother-in-law and himself, and I was just helping out admin stuff. And they were doing an app. It was like a crypto, like a WeChat kind of app.
Yeah.
They were going. It was called Chat Ching, and they started that, and I was helping them out. And then at that time, James was like, "Oh," I was like, because his brother-in-law gave us a lead for social, and I was still helping people out. And then at that time, he's like, "Oh, bro, you want to start our own coffee?" I was like, "Yeah, why not?" You know, I'm always a guy that just does, you know, no matter what's going to happen, I'll just do it.
Yeah, give it a crack.
Give it a crack. And we started our own coffee. And then
Wow.
at the same time, I was like, bro, let's do social media together. So
Bro, you had your head in everything, bro. You just like,
you got to try it, bro.
How long were you at Sonoma for?
So
at this time?
so prior to Sonoma,
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
it was like
Yeah.
a 3-month when I obviously stopped my other business. It was like 3 months just doing random jobs.
Yeah.
But James, he was doing his app, and then when I went to the office, we just used to talk, and he's like, bro, let's do this. And then we started our own coffee. It was called Volume Coffee Roasters. And at the same time, we started Megaphone Media. It was unofficial, nothing official yet, but we started it. And yeah, from that, Sonoma, Megaphone, Volume Coffee, we were just going and, you know, just doing my thing. And after a year, for Volume Coffee, we had a few customers. Coffee is so hard, man. You know, especially in the aggressive market these days. And we kind of just, our social media went flying, and the coffee, you know, was going all right. We hired out Kennard's storage for our stuff, and bro, it was just like hustling, bro. And then as soon as like social media kicked off, like, bro, why are we trying to like sell coffee physically when we can do all this on our laptop?
Smashing social.
Yeah, so we just we pretty much sold it off and gave it to, you know, a few clients, to a few friends of ours, and yeah, we moved on. And at the same time, I'm still doing Sonoma. And the one thing I love about my job is the flexibility, you know, obviously networking. Over the years, I built up a network, and like you said before, I don't cold call really much anymore. People just reach out to me. Cold calling I might do on socials, like I might just DM them and say, hey guys, I see you opening up. My name's Regan. But yeah, a lot of my sales now is through networking.
Yeah.
Like one of my biggest clients was through Spro Bros. Shout out to
Oh,
Spro
really?
Bros.
Wow.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so Accor Stadium, they're
wow.
run by Venues Live. So I got that whole account through Spro Bros.
Wow,
Wow,
like
that's
they
hectic.
came across Spro Bros and
So the barista that we used to work at one of their cafes that they used to oversee in Sydney Olympic Park, one of my mates, Adrian, shout out to TMB Cafe in Rudy Hill, he told me, oh, Finn wants to meet you because we had a Spro Bros event. So I went just to say hello, have a Spro with the bro. And
let's go.
and then he's like, oh, you work at Sonoma, bro. I love your cinnamon scrolls. I'm like, yeah, you want some samples? And then gave him some samples. And then the next day I just followed up. I was like, hey, bro, how was samples? He's like, I need to speak to my general manager. I was like, this guy's been a smart. I was like, it's a small cafe.
yeah.
And then this guy called me about 2 days after. I still remember this call. He's like, hey, it's so-and-so from Venues Live. I was like, bro, is this a prank call?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah, you dropped some samples off to our cafe. I'm like, oh, yeah. And then, because, bro, all my mates, they call me up just
To take the piss.
Take the piss, yeah. Can I have 45 tons of bread?
So I was a bit, like, obviously skeptical about it. And then he's like, yeah, he's telling me. And I was like, holy shit. And then he's telling me all the venues that they oversee.
Wow.
Wow.
And then,
Hectic.
2 weeks after that, the whole executive team came to our bakery.
Wow, bro.
I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, bro, is this actually happening?
Let's go.
This is real.
But
What an
that's
account.
that's all through networking.
For the love of bread.
For the love
Yeah.
of bread. Let's go. Hashtag.
Yeah, and that was on the back of like obviously how you network. Because for those of you who don't know Regan, yeah, he's a man of the people,
100%.
big time. Everyone
of the
knows him.
people.
He knows, like, obviously working out in Western Sydney as well. But is that all coming back to all your network marketing at Vima, all that sales, being able to learn all that to becoming this person within the
So when I used
Sonoma
to
industry?
work at Shabello, and I guess I did take a lot from that, esteem from that, and just the hardcore hustle of just sales and get in my face. And our boss at the time used to say, "Get kilos, 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 kilos," and that's where my calling came, like my drive and my well, it was probably fear from the boss, but you know, I was just going hard. And I think for me, I've learned, you know, people can smell fake from a mile away. One thing that I know for a fact is, our greatest, my greatest, I wouldn't say idol, sorry. No. It's the greatest thing that I've learned is to serve others, and that's from Christ.
Yeah.
So when I serve, like people think, obviously I'm in sales, I'm only doing it for sales. Man, I love serving people.
Yeah.
And that's where, obviously my
Passion.
drive comes from. And it helps with obviously my job because, I'm serving them, I put like bread and obviously helping them out. And I don't just go into a cafe these days and just sell bread. Like I don't go, oh, here's my bread, that's it.
Nah, not at all, bro. It's not transactional
Build
like that anymore. It's
connection.
rapport.
I'll always try to help them out. Whatever suppliers that I have with my networks, from packing to coffee, and then just obviously social media. Like there's so many things that
Make introductions.
And cafes are hard, bro. Like cafes are so hard, bro. Like I know the best operators right now working like dogs, and their GP is just always going down every year.
What's GP? Gross
profit. Yeah. So,
Bro, what do you mean? I used to one time, multiple times. I'm like, bro, I need sourdough. He's like, cuz, why didn't you put an order in? Because you had to order a sourdough like 48 hours before, so 2 days, because they need that time for proofing. I'll call him and be like, bro, are you calling me just to order for bread? Or like, do you just want to say, hey? I'm like, no, bro, I just wanted to chat with you. I'm like,
this
also,
guy-
Can I also get some bread?
Can also get some bread. Or one time I ordered because you can order croissants that come in packs of 6. You got a pack on your bench right now. Best croissants, by the way. Butter
do?
and flake, yeah.
Yeah, I'll get you some, bro.
It's
Oh, heck.
underneath the pastel
Oh,
donana.
let's go.
Shit. Yeah, bro. And I ordered 6 times 6. So I had like 36 croissants coming to my shop in the morning. I'm like, Regan, I can't afford this, bro. Like, come take them back. So luckily, he's able to come.
Because no one came in this morning, come and take him, please.
Was he the worst customer? No.
Honestly, he was up there, bro.
He was definitely
Straight up.
last minute, everything. I need this today, bro, please.
He would call me and try to small talk me about what he want. Just tell me what you want.
How are you? How's Liana? How's the kids? Because I need bread now.
Bro, he got to the point where he would just message me, bro, I need this. But like, it's funny because most of my customers, they become my mates, and like they will call me or they'll text me, and I'll say no. Like I would be a smart ass. Like I'll say
Straight
go
out, no.
stuff yourself. No.
Yeah.
But like I always try. Like for example, Maddie, he'll send me a late order. I'll send it to the packing team. Say
If
hey,
they can do it,
if you can do it, you can do it. And
Yeah.
that's the difference between people that can and people that don't. I could easily say, yeah, bro, I'll try my best and not do anything
Yeah.
about it. Because
Yeah,
I get in trouble.
right.
I actually get
I
in
know
trouble
you
for the
do.
late
I know,
orders.
I know.
Thanks,
Like,
Maddie.
Thanks, Maddie.
Bro.
There's a lot of my customers out there.
They
I'm
always
gonna
send me a
name and shame them.
screenshot of the emails like,
was
is
actually
this
about
the
to say
Brother
that.
Bear account again? And you're like, yes.
Sure is.
But yeah, man, it's obviously serving others, and Jesus Christ
Yeah.
was the greatest server. The day before he got crucified, he was washing the disciples' feet. Like, bro, if I was about to die tomorrow, I ain't washing your feet now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
that's
I
the
get you,
greatest server.
Yeah, 100%, bro. But it is. It's a blessed to be a blessing, bro. It feels good. And it feels good, bro. You know what I mean? You don't do it for your own thing, but how good does it feel when you help someone? Especially those young guys, bro. Like, bro, honestly, like, that was a massive help for me during my shop. Like, knowing I had boys like you around that I could just call just for advice or someone to chat to or your bread, whatever it is, bro. Knowing that you got someone in your corner rooting for you is like, some of the most... you can't ask for much more, especially in a friendship group.
100%. And COVID was a big shock for our industry, and it hurt me because I saw a lot of my friends that were hurting, and I was going around just flinging bread.
Yeah.
Some croissants.
Just to try to give them light and obviously a bit of I guess something that they can look forward to. And yeah, that was obviously how I helped this guy out.
Sure, bro. Shock, cuz.
Oh man, thank God you don't own a cafe.
No, man, thank God I don't. I just work on my laptop now.
That's
Shit.
it.
Hey, I'm doing a
Cafe.
JP now. At a cafe. literally. I'm happy
yeah.
to be a patron now. Chill, sip on the coffee. So Spro Bros, but that's like our newest venture, obviously. Started off as a bit of like a joke or a bit of a network type of thing.
It was a joke.
And then I love how you've just continued to just,
Yeah, well,
continue to sow into that.
For me, it's very, obviously everyone has different definitions of happiness. And for me, I try to do everything that makes me happy. I wake up every day and I thank God, obviously. And for happiness for me is, obviously my kids and my wife, making sure that they're happy. But just serving others. Spro Bros did start as a joke. Me and Jay from Elevate. Doesn't work there no more, but we started as just one of the bro things. And from there, just stemmed into something what it is today. And, it comes back to helping each other as a hospitality group.
What is Spro Bros?
So Spro Bros is short for obviously Espresso Brothers, but it's a community of coffee lovers. So most of the people in the chat, they're baristas, cafe owners, roasters. There's a lot of other people.
Coffee fanatics in general.
So I could never be a part of this group, sorry.
No, you can't.
No.
Yeah, but I just anyway.
There's no. You can join the hot chocolate bros. The hot chocolate bros.
So it started out as like a bit, bit of a joke. Now it's turned into a little bit of a community. And what has it kind of grown into now?
So like, for how it started was at Elevate, and I walked into after 180, 10 minutes before the session finished. Walked in for a spro.
You train?
Or sometimes. But I walked in at about 5:50, and then Jay was like to me, "Hey, bro." I was like, "Can I get a spro?" And he's like, "Spro bros?" So it was just a joke.
Wow.
And then I remember one of the girls, I think it was Shauna, it was one of the girls, and she started saying it as well. I was just sitting there. She went up to Jay and said, "Sup, spro bro?" I was like, "What the heck?" So in my head, I was like, wow.
Light bulb moment.
Yeah, light bulb moment. And then I started Instagram, started a WhatsApp group, and from there.
You started an Instagram page. Bro, remember when I said gym hopping? And then he started the page within 5 seconds.
I was laughing.
He wanted the trademark.
Yeah, 100%.
But one thing about Spro Bros that I personally love is the fact that it had you fallen off the wheels 3-4 months in, but the fact that you continually post, and how many times can you post photos of coffee or funny videos of your mates having coffees, but then you do the merch and then the events that actually manifested. I remember the first event.
Breaking bread.
Wow, bro,
So
this is actually a real
tell
thing.
me, because I've seen Instagram stories of these posts. What do you do at these events? People trying coffee. What are they doing?
Yeah. So we're trying. So whatever the coffee roaster wants to do, we're obviously doing a tasting of the coffee.
So you invite everyone in the community,
and a guest host will host that at their cafe.
And then they will, who brings the coffee and what sort
the
of
coffee roaster. They will bring their coffee and they'll explain where they source it from, what farms and all this, and it's just a big networking group.
That's awesome, man.
We call it breaking bread because I bring obviously the bread.
Yeah.
And, we break
Shout out Sonoma.
Shout out to Sonoma. But yeah, so it's just a massive networking, and the last couple of months we used to do it once every month, so we did I think 6 in a row, but last month for me was a hectic month, and we just wanted to do it every 3 months now. So the last one will be around the early December, and we'll just finish for the year, and probably until February because December, January. But for me, I'm doing it because I love coffee. I was doing it anyway. To bring people and it comes back to obviously the stem of my foundation, which is Christ. The amount of people that I've been able to speak to over coffee, save my life, save their life. It's not just about coming together and hey, Spro Bros, coffee snobs.
It's very fruitful. I've just seriously been there, and there's amazing. It's just opportunity to connect with one another in real life.
A great brotherhood. Who designs your merch? It's great merch.
So Nayland, he used to work at Elevator as well, but my wife does some stuff as well for us. So
Sprobros.com/merch. Where's the
Sprobros.com?
Yeah. Any plugs?
Just Sprobros.com.
Sprobros.co. Yeah, that's it. Man. I don't need plugs, man.
No plugs.
Just put it in there.
Sounds like you want to be a part of this group.
No, the problem is
coffee.
I feel like I'm part of Spro Bros in spirit, but I do not like drinking espresso shots.
Drinking Spros in heaven?
No Spros?
Bro, sometimes I smell Maddie's black coffee. I don't know what you get from Elevate, and this is no disrespect to
you
Elevate's
say this all the time, yeah.
It's so potent, and the thing is, when I drink black coffee, because I'm already hypo as
you are,
I'll start climbing the walls, bro.
You'd be like, I need this shit.
My heart will start palpitating.
He does not need coffee.
Something about black coffee. I have a coffee.
JP does not need coffee.
But even then, I don't even need it. It's just a ritual.
Yeah.
Because you don't need any more laxatives.
No, that's two things I don't need.
But yeah, like you said, it's like a brotherhood, and for me, just getting people together. But we're pretty blessed with our training team, man. 180, 5 a.m. hustlers.
100%.
That's a plug right there.
Yeah.
Honestly, you guys started this podcast from there. The reason why, honestly, I put my hand up. You probably guys know I hate training. I hate training. I've always hated it.
Get yourself.
Just come for the hangout.
Yeah, pretty much socialize. But you boys have made me be able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been some dark times where I don't show up because I've been injured or had other commitments. But the only reason why I come to 180 is because of the boys.
Yeah.
Other commitments, hugging my pillow,
hugging my kids or my wife.
His kids come into his bed. He's like, I'm not going anywhere. I don't blame him.
Joto, Danny, we always talk about it. As soon as we use as kids, you can't say anything.
That's what burns us, because every time the kids are like, what are we supposed to say? Such a low blow.
Yeah,
my kids.
You can't say anything.
It's such a good excuse.
Yeah.
Literally.
And then it's the whole thing about when you got kids and someone else doesn't. It's the way that people with the kids. Oh, you don't get it.
They think, what I want to say?
Life is different to yours.
What I want to say to the boys though, because my father was a single parent. And I always want to come back to the boys and be like, well, this is what my dad did. But
what about Billy? They take him to the gym. What's those two people? I forgot their names. The two that bring the little boy to the, they come to the training.
Sunday's Billy.
Yeah, the kids, bro. We've seen the kid grow up. He can walk now. He took his first steps.
He's going to be snatching
in the gym. He took
Yeah.
his first steps in the gym. No, I'm kidding. I made that up.
But yeah, man, it's actually such a privilege to obviously train with you guys, and as much as I hate it, but you guys push me, and obviously that's a brotherhood that we have.
Yeah, no,
100%.
it's really good. Yeah, and we've got our challenge coming up soon, which will be good.
I haven't
2
even read
weeks.
it, bro. As soon as I saw Sean's thing, I'm like,
And it's such a laugh.
You need to repost it. You need to
Yeah,
repost
Don't
Repost
worry,
it,
I know. It's all you need to know it's in 2
2
weeks.
weeks.
Also, for 6 weeks.
Bro, ever since you
I'll
mentioned those
post it.
croissants too, bro, I'm just looking at them.
No, that box of
that's the
croissants.
Portuguese side or
What time?
pasta de
We
nata.
need to. Okay.
Yeah, we got.
Yeah.
We'll probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
No, but let's talk about
still got 2 hours.
My bad.
Megaphone Media, because that's obviously
Oh, yeah,
a
we
new,
didn't talk about
not a
that.
new venture, but you've been doing that for some time.
Yeah.
So Sonoma, and talk to us about that, because
So-
that's massive. Because JP, but Regan's so good at social media,
Thank you.
like massively so good. Because
Thank you.
every time I post something on social media, first one to like it and comment is Regan.
What is
Bro, what are you
that?
doing?
So but before we move on, Matty gets to a time where he starts to fuck around
Yeah,
and he
he's
gets
delirious now.
delirious. And,
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. Every podcast. Anyway,
No, I was just thinking
so
about those croissants.
carry on.
Shout out to Dropouts, so professional, love them.
Yeah.
5-star review. But yeah, so Megaphone Media, me and James started it. Like I said,
When?
When did I ask?
Give it to me.
When did you open that?
Officially 4 years ago, but we obviously started it 5 years ago. Same time, kind of before Sonoma. So me and James started. Like I said, we're doing coffee as well, and we just got a lead for his brother-in-law, and I was like, bro, let's just do it together. But what we do is obviously we specialize in social media management, so we just take that stress away from you. So businesses that don't have the time. And yeah, obviously we started in the cafes and the hospitality, but we've stemmed onto other bigger giants and different demographics now.
And your company itself, so you guys are based in Glebe. You still have your office out in Glebe or not
Moved
anymore?
to Camperdown.
You're in Camperdown now.
Yeah.
And how many? So it's yourself and James, obviously the two owners, the two co-founders.
Yeah.
Is a lot of that work sort of like, I want to use the tradie term, subbed out? Do you guys have full-time employees
we
there
have
as well?
full-time. We have about, at the moment, I'm just trying to think of the top of my head, probably 6 full-time.
Wow.
And then
Wow,
obviously we outsource like videographers if we need it.
Mm-hmm.
We have a full-time videographer now, and our photographer, our main photographer, we outsource him as well.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, it's for me like I said, bro, like from a young age. So when I was a barista, I was doing like social media for the cafes that I was at. And I just liked it, and obviously our generation, we grew up in it, like it was just there with us. So I just fell in love with that and just helping people, and then obviously expressing the marketing side of things. And I knew that what I could do for them would help them, and obviously bring revenue into their business. Over the years, I've seen it grow dramatically. Obviously, we saw the giant TikTok come in, and that was just like another slap in the face. But every day, the thing about social media is it changes, and I'm trying to keep up with it, bro. It's very hard.
And where do you see, like, if you could, as someone in the industry, where do you feel like, we saw Threads coming, and then there's been this change back to sort of like that cool sort of fun Twitter style, and then I've almost like history repeats itself. Like there's been that like drawback to like old school sort of like MySpace, like people like typing their thoughts and things like that. And then earlier this year we saw like video just go crazy and short form content. It's constantly changing and rapidly evolving. Like where do you feel like the next sort of 6 to 12 months looks like that it's heading? Do you think?
Well, like I said, it changes daily, but everyone's like, oh, there can't be another platform that comes out. There can't be, like, bro, we've seen, what was the Instagram one? I forgot the name of it already.
Threads,
like
yeah.
that came out, like, bro.
Has that dropped off already?
I think so.
It does a little bit, but the interesting thing is that like it's there when people are ready for it, because already you have a bunch of like I posted nothing, but I have a bunch of followers on Threads. You do, like. I feel like it's one of those things that will naturally just it'll
grow,
there was the big bang because it was just massive announcement. Oh my god, it's literally a replica of Twitter, but it's like just so easily accessible. Where I spend 90% of my time on social.
But
media.
I almost feel like, if I'm just to like have my prediction, that first it became like everyone, there was influencers, then there was like semi-big influencers. Now there's like micro influencers. Almost feel like it's going to go back because everyone sort of left their 9 to 5, what's considered an uncool job, and pursued this social like media. If everyone's that job, then nobody's that job. And I feel like it's almost going back to the point where social media, there'll still be those big pioneers and people who are doing media for the sake of putting out cool media, those professionals and those in the industry. But I feel like those little micro influencers are starting to get phased out. And in the next 6 to 12 months, there's not going to be this like unless you've already got a huge following, I think it's a much harder now to grow on social media than it once
100%.
was.
But yeah, we know the metaverse will be a big thing. I don't know if it's going to happen in a year or two, but that's what obviously Mark Zuckerberg's trying to do. He's trying to get everyone to his platform.
Yeah.
And it could happen, you know, who knows what time it's going to happen, but you can see obviously with Threads, he tried to take out Twitter and, you know, that's going to happen. But there's the thing.
When's the cage fight? More
the
importantly,
oh, that's going to be
between-
fun. They're punching
Cage
on.
fight?
Mark
They're gonna
Zuckerberg
fight
and
each other.
Elon Musk.
Zuckerberg versus
And
Elon
Elon.
Musk. You ever heard about that?
Oh, bro, I have heard about that. Talk about distractions, bro.
Yeah, no, it's all right, bro. But yeah, that's where I
bills
see
are they
it
passing?
happen in a year's time. You know, socials that I guess for us as consumers, it's funny because the younger generation, they'll jump on something new just to get followers, and likes, and it's sad, you know. But like I said at the start, whatever the enemy meant for evil, God will use for good. And you know, I do believe that. Talk about distractions.
Fire.
No, he can't go past fucking 50 minutes. Or
I
something.
know, see.
He's losing his
You like that in
marbles.
school as well, right? You like that in school.
But yeah, lucky they had 50-minute periods. On Tuesday, they were 45-minute periods. I was like bouncing off the walls. Couldn't wait to get out.
This is you bouncing. You've seen that Conor McGregor video, surely.
No, we haven't seen
We
it.
haven't seen it.
the
We'll
one
watch
where
it later.
Jab, I'm gonna show you.
But how does it work? How does it work between like Sonoma and Megaphone?
Yeah,
Like,
so like I said,
because you do that full
I'm
time
blessed.
still. And
Yeah, I'm blessed with what I do, and I'm able to obviously network. So my business partner James is in Megaphone full time.
Yeah.
Obviously, I do it part time as well. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we have employees that do a lot of the day to day jobs, and you know, it's been a blessing over the years to see where it comes. And you know, who knows, God's timing. You know, in the future, I'll probably do it full time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, would you ever? At what point would you feel like you jumping into
Well, because
full-time?
what I did to my family a few years ago when I jumped out had nothing really stable. I don't want to do that to them again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want to be set up and make sure, obviously with 3 kids and a wife,
Yeah.
you
Security
need,
and stuff
you know,
is
income for each. So yeah, no, just building it up. But in God's timing, man, I'm in no rush.
No rush.
No
100%.
rush at all.
in a good place.
One thing I can tell the youngins that do listen to it, so probably one person, you know, you got to make sure that you don't rush life. You know what I mean?
True.
Like we're so caught up in this social media life and like everyone's got this comparison and envy, and bro, just focus on yourself and do what makes you happy and take time. Like, man, I've been at this for, you know, for almost 5 years now, and obviously I'm not where I thought I'd be, but I love every moment of it.
Yeah.
100%. And I feel like that's the best piece of advice I ever got, and was like, nothing is ever as urgent as you think it is,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Can't just go through. You're good. And all the people that out there that are watching this-
Wait, is that why you're late all the time?
Is that why we start?
Says you, late boy.
Yeah,
Late
me
boy.
and you were both there
You're
at 5 a.m. on the dot
bro,
today.
you're
Suck my ball.
yeah, actually, you even got there before me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
don't worry. Our guest was here at 7:30.
Thanks,
What
thanks.
about the book? No, don't.
I was, yeah,
If
I
I'm
was
booked in
showering.
at 6, then expect 360 at 7:30.
That's like, I don't know. Do you remember 360, the rapper? Aussie
Yeah, I
rapper?
do, bro. He was in
Yeah.
that famous rap battle
With Cursor.
With Cursor. I was going to say something on you, what you said, but I forgot. So
About patience.
No. Something, what were you two talking about just
Stop
now?
being late.
No, before that, what were you talking about?
Scott wants me to go back to the
Megaphone.
start.
What you talking about, Willis?
So back when you were 16 years old.
Yeah, no, it was a good point.
Megaphone
bro.
Media.
Megaphone.
Yeah.
Jumping into it, 9 to 5. Oh, yeah, no. What I was going to say is this is important because, look, I feel like it's a lot of... focusing on yourself, that thing is very... It's a very easy thing to say. It's like, even for me, I can say that now because I've felt it. But, like, people have to go through not focusing on themselves and focusing on everyone around them and the comparison and all that. They have to kind of go through that to get to a point where they go, well, now I realize what's important. It's just... So it's almost like, from a practical standpoint... Like, what do you know, everyone goes through this whole phase of like, I'm concerned with what everyone around me is doing, what they're doing, how I compare myself to them. And I'm in a rush because I want to fucking be or show people that I'm successful. So, I don't know, not just to you, Regan, but to anyone, like, what's some practical advice that helps people get through that phase? Because ultimately people are going to go through it, right? People don't understand that it's a marathon, not a sprint. Because when you're there in the moment, all you can see is the guy around you who's got that, you know, hectic job at, you know, Deloitte or whatever, and you're still at uni or you've dropped out or whatever it may be, right? So, like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, well, I'll start. I think with the social media side of things, people have been developed into showing their good side and showing, I guess, what people portrayed them as. Because I'm telling you right now, 90% of people right now, you actually don't know them.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
true.
and we just see all the good. So one thing I can give advice is just be yourself. No one actually cares about you. I've noticed that the hard way, and
People care about themselves.
They care about themselves. Like, bro, no one actually cares about you.
Yeah.
Like,
That's true.
You maybe your close family.
yeah, maybe. No, I'm just joking. But there are a few people that have obviously a small circle, but you're trying to impress, especially people in high school, like your high school friends, bro. High school, it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
probably not even going to be friends with these guys.
Yeah.
And you're trying to impress them. Like, people would actually put it on someone else, aka Maddie, just so they could look better. I'm just sick of Matty picking on JP.
That's true, bro.
But, you know, being serious though, that
Joking.
I feel like you two are brothers, bro. But yeah, just not caring about what other people think and just do what makes you happy. That's bottom line. What were you going to say, Manny?
It's interesting. I
He
just
wants to come at me.
This guy's
hard.
Nah.
You were the one that said it, but he wants to come at me. You see,
I feel like it's a lot easier just to surrender your control. It's a lot harder for some people. The reason like you're struggling, people struggle with what they're saying is because they're trying to just make everything go their perfect way. And if it doesn't go in accordance to the way they think that it should happen, then all of a sudden they throw a hissy fit and a tantrum when it doesn't go exactly the way it happened. You can obviously plan for things and you want things to go a certain way, and I can have, you know, a rough guide. But at the end of the day, if things don't fall into that place, like, who am I to say that things need to be like this and this needs to be the way my partner is and my job's going to work? Nothing has worked out ever exactly as I wanted to. Nothing in my whole life.
So true. Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face, right? And you know, like on that point,
Punch him in the face.
I forgot who
Punch
said
you in
that.
the face?
But I think it was actually a boxing quote. Someone was saying like Muhammad Ali was saying like you know everyone's got a plan until everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. Then it's like just survive. One thing I was going to say on that topic was one thing that I found makes it easier to not get caught up in that whole, you know, comparison and this and that showing good is when you actually show the shit in your life, or when you share the shit, all the other people come out of the woodwork, just like, you know, just like when you did,
Your mate,
you're sharing your struggles. All of a sudden, someone who you thought had their shit together comes out and goes, bro, like say,
100%.
We're all in the
and that's when I feel like you start to realize that everyone's only human.
We're all eating the same shit sandwich.
Yeah.
Everybody. We're all eating the same shit sandwich. But that's the thing. People need to be...
Sourdough at the top, sourdough at the bottom, shit in the middle.
But people need to be aware of that, though. But that's the thing, though. People need to be aware of that. That's the thing. Self-awareness is the key to obviously moving forward and making sure that you can move through that. You know, so people that aren't self-aware. They just don't know who they are. They don't know who the person they want to be. So, fuck.
Yeah, 100%, Shawnee. You're absolutely right, bro. But it's just,
Just say what you were going to say.
It's just, you made me visualize it because we're talking about Sonoma bread.
Yeah, that's why when he said bread, shit sandwich, I was like sourdough.
No, we'll be using brickfield
Anyway,
sourdough.
I think if we're going to lose people at this point.
Soy and linseed and not a lot of food.
Right, yeah. How do we wrap up now? It's been a great episode.
Yeah,
I've really enjoyed
thanks
this.
for
Thanks for sharing your
Shawnee,
thanks for sharing your story. Like that was like a really eye-opening experience even for me.
Thank you.
And I really enjoyed this today.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's good.
It was
And I
to be
think
on, boys.
I just want to commend myself and my co-host that I think we did a great. I thought this was going to be before people really messy, but I think we did a good
I think
job.
so. And it's learning every week. I think we did great. Regan, it was
An honor to have you on the
Yeah,
podcast.
thank you,
Love you,
Regan.
bro. Thanks for your support.
hands.
Thanks for
Thank
the man
you.
you are, bro. God bless you. In Jesus' name.
Peace out.
Thanks,
Go eat a
everyone.
shit sandwich.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next week.